everybody. Welcome back to Kavanaugh's Corner. Today on the channel, I'm going to be reviewing a new release here, and this was a film that I sadly did not get to see in the theaters, but a lot of my friends did, and they kind of all told me about this movie and how it really blew them away. And so when I found that Warner Brothers was going to be sending me this to review here on the YouTube channel, I was kind of excited because I had heard a lot of good things. A lot of critics absolutely loved this movie as well. And that is the new film from director Ryan Coogler. It's called Sinners. And this is starring Michael B. Jordan in a dual role, actually. And it's also starring Haley Steinfeld, Miles Caton in a great role, as well as Delroy Lindo, who is a fabulous actor and has been in a lot of great movies over the years. And he plays a really good part in this as well as an alcoholic piano player. But really, this movie, it all takes place in the early 1930s. And without going into too much detail here, as I mentioned, Michael B. Jordan plays these twin brothers who are kind of from round the way, as I should say, and they are going to open up a juke joint for probably one night only and try to, make some money during the Prohibition era. And it's really interesting. They're, trying to start anew, and then something really horrific happens. And if you've seen this movie, you know what the horrific thing is, but if you haven't, it's kind of the exciting part of this movie. Plot-wise, I really enjoyed this movie, even though it really, really reminded me of another film that came out many years ago, and I won't say the name of the movie because it might ruin this one, but the one thing I really loved about this movie is the lore of certain characters and the extraordinary, painstaking detail and fabulous direction that Ryan Coogler brought to this film. This movie did not have to be as artistically well made as it was, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I was really excited to check this out in 4K, because this was shot in 70 millimeter and IMAX, and this 4K does feature the expanding aspect ratio as it was seen if you saw this in an IMAX theater. So it's very exciting. And the 70 millimeter stuff is presented in 2:76:1. So that is a very, very, very wide screen. And then when it goes to IMAX, it switches to 1:78:1. So basically the entire screen is filled. So it's a really interesting experience, and today, as always on the channel, I'm going to be reviewing the picture quality, the audio quality, and the special features. Now, before we go any further, I do want to mention that this was given to me by Warner Brothers Home Entertainment, and a big, big thank you to Warner Brothers for sending this out to me. But as always, anytime when I'm given a product, I like to say the fact that I am not being paid by Warner Brothers for this review. Just so you know, no money has changed hands. They give me the product so I can cover it here on the channel, but that's all. They don't ask me to say anything in particular. I'm not being asked to do anything in particular. I just need to make some sort of content. I always like to say that because there has been some controversy in the past about people getting paid to do reviews and stuff like that. That is not the case with this. This is not a sponsored video, and my opinion is mine and mine alone. So again, what you're about to hear from me is not the words of Warner Brothers or anything like that. It is my own opinion. So to jump right into the review here, the picture quality on this is pretty astounding, I have to admit. Now, this is a brand new film, so I was not expecting this to be anything less than stellar. And now this movie does have Dolby Vision, and the Dolby Vision combined with the 4K resolution here, I was really blown away by this. And more so than most other films that I've seen as of recently, especially newer films. This movie just looks astoundingly fantastic. And the 70 millimeter stuff, Ryan Coogler shot this in a very particular way. Every single frame is meticulously planned out, and you can tell just by watching this. And those 70 millimeter sequences, they capture so much in the frame. And there are some really beautiful landscape shots, close ups. The detail level on this is just off the charts. But the one thing I wanted to mention, because it is something I did notice, and again, it may have been purposeful, and I don't believe that it's a technical issue. And I very much believe that Ryan Coogler was very, very involved with this release here because of just the way that this was handled. But the movie is very, very dark, and it's shot dark. And what I mean by that is, yes, there are very dark sequences, there are dimly lit environments. Most of the movie takes place at night, I would say, or at least more than half of it does. What I mean by dark is it seems to be the exposure of the film in through most of the movie is pretty dark, and it's shot, in very low light on purpose, and it may have even been underdeveloped to make even daylight seem a little bit dimmer than it normally would be. Watching this in Dolby Vision, I noticed that there were some sequences that, even though they were interiors in daylight, there's a lot of shadow in this film. And some of those sequences, especially there's a scene at the beginning when one of the main characters is meeting with a preacher character. It's the character's father. And that sequence, you can almost not even see the characters' faces. You can see just enough to make out certain details, but a lot of detail is being swallowed by shadow. Now, I do not believe that this is an issue with the disc at all. I am almost fairly certain that that's the way it's supposed to look. And Ryan Coogler shot it that way to give like that look. So I don't think for a second that that's a mistake, especially with this film being so new. But just know that this is an extraordinarily dark looking film. And the nighttime sequences use darkness in a way to amp up that creep factor. But also, the black levels on this disc are inky, inky black. And that is very much, I believe, on purpose. So if you're watching this on a screen or a projector that does not handle black levels very well, you're going to have a bad time with this movie. But other than that, I mean, every single thing about this disc is absolutely flawless in terms of picture quality. The tones of the characters, skin tones, the way the scenes are shot, the actual detail of clothing, the cars that are driven, little details, even in certain props and stuff that are used. You can see every little thing. And that 70 millimeter and the IMAX sequences, especially the IMAX sequences, the depth of field that is being used, it is really unbelievable to look at. And the only thing I can really compare it to is some other Christopher Nolan films that have come out in 4K in the past. There's really not much like this on 4K, and I mean that in the best way possible. It is a stunningly gorgeous looking film. It's very engrossing, and the picture of this disc just totally envelops you. And I honestly have no negatives to say about it. I was floored multiple times, and as someone who is a lover of cinema, this is kind of an achievement in terms of picture quality on 4K. It is absolutely amazing. The entire film has an extraordinarily filmic look to it, although the grain in this is very, very minimal. It's there, the film grain is definitely there, but it is next to nothing compared to some other films I've seen shot in IMAX and 70 millimeter. And I think that really does assist the picture quality for some reason in this film. I don't know what it is, but I love seeing film grain in movies, but it's just enough in this where you are getting that film experience, but there's really nothing to speak of in terms of any issues with the grain or the picture detail at all. Now, as for the audio quality on this, this does come with a Dolby Atmos audio track. And that Dolby Atmos track on this is, again, really, really fantastic. Dialogue is crystal clear throughout. The music and the score of the film just sounds amazing. Ludwig Göransson, who does a lot of work with Christopher Nolan, he provides a score in this that is just, it's kind of perfect. And just like the movie, it keeps you guessing, but also is absolutely indicative of what is going on screen. It almost has, you know, a bluesy gothic tone to it, and it just sounds amazing on the audio track for this disc. Sound effects on this also are really, really well placed. Again, this being a new film, I was not expecting any issues with any kind of audio quality, but I'm glad to say that pretty much everything is perfectly placed. Overheads are not really used very much on this. It's mainly all kind of front and center and some stuff going on in the surrounds. It really does have a booming sound, and the bass on this disc is really, really deep, and it thuds. And I just want to let you know that in advance, because there's actually a few times when I was watching this where I actually had to turn the volume down, especially some of the moments in the juke joint sequence when the music is being played. There's a lot of foot tapping and pounding on floors, and I had to actually lower it because the bass just thuds so loud. It was really, really impressive, and I have no issues or complaints with the audio quality on this. And this also does come with a bunch of special features as well. There is a 30-something minute featurette called Dancing with the Devil, The Making of Sinners. And that's a really nice behind-the-scenes kind of extended featurette where, you know, you see Ryan Coogler going through the motions making this film. You also get interviews with the cast and crew, and it's a really nice little making-of featurette, and just, you know, what they went through making this movie, what it was like working with the film formats that the director worked with. It's a really, really interesting little extended featurette there. There's also another featurette called Thicker Than Blood, Becoming the Smokestack Twins, and that's about a little over 10 minutes. That is an interview with Michael B. Jordan talking about playing the two parts of the Smokestack Twins, and really what he did to kind of get into the character, what it was like to play both parts, and the technical challenges that came along with it. Another featurette I really enjoyed is called Blues in the Night, The Music of Sinners, and that is a 13-minute little interview with Ludwig Göransson, who really always does really well with these interviews. I don't know what it is. He's just a really personable guy, and it's really cool talking about how he really studied up on the blues and, you know, helped create the music and the performances of the film along with the score. There's another featurette called Spirits in the Deep South, and that is like an 8-minute featurette that features Professor Yvonne Chirot. Sorry, I had to write that down. And that talks about the spirituality and the hoodoo of the Deep South. And that's really interesting because it does play a kind of an important part in the film. The idea of like the ancestors and spirituality and stuff. And it's a neat topic that they kind of do a little dip your toe in the water kind of examination of in that featurette. So that's pretty cool. There's another featurette that's a little over 10 minutes long. That's about the effects of the film. And there's also about 20 minutes of deleted scenes. So this is really, really a great little set here from Warner Brothers. It's only one disc as well, so everything I've told you about is all on one disc, but it does come with a digital copy. All in all, I'd say my opinion of this is kind of a must-buy. If you saw this in theaters, this is pretty much the closest you're ever going to get to an in-theater experience at home. This is a standout disc in my library, to be completely honest with you. This is one of the best releases on the 4K format that I have seen in a while. It really blew me away. And most new films, because they're shot digitally, they didn't leave me with the feeling that I got from this disc here. It also helps that it's a pretty great movie. I actually really enjoyed it. It was entertaining, but it also stayed with me. And I loved it. I absolutely loved this movie. I highly, highly recommend Sinners. This is an absolute reference disc on the 4K format. I cannot recommend it enough. Thank you again to Warner Brothers Home Entertainment for sending this out. This was an absolute joy to watch, and I can't wait to revisit it again. Well, that's all for today for Kavanaugh's Corner. I want to wish you all the very best. If you enjoyed this video, definitely make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel so I can keep bringing you content like this. And also, share this video with your friends. We're trying to kind of expand things here on my YouTube channel, and we're growing really pretty much every day here. So for all of you that watch and have subscribed, thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart. I do this out of love. I don't make a lot of money here on the channel. I really do this because I love physical media and it's a passion of mine. So if you enjoy it, again, thank you for commenting and subscribing and watching and all that. It really, really means the world to me. But that's it for today. Again, thank you so very much for coming back to Kavanaugh's Corner. Until next time, please stay safe, keep collecting, and take it easy.